So last time we talked, Gwyneth Westwood, the founder of My Not So Berry Challenge, received life-saving surgery after nearly hemorrhaging to death, while her fiancé, Joseph Bastianich, went to his second session of rehab later that night. Gwyneth received her first child support payment from her daughter Bella Westwood's alien mother, senior pollinator technician number 3, leaving Gwyneth curious as to how to get in contact with her. Gwyneth believed Bella deserved the chance to know her alien mother and understand that part of herself. As a scientist, Gwyneth understood some things about alien life, but nowhere near as much as Bella's alien mum did. She didn't want to take that away from her daughter, so Gwyneth decided she would find a way to contact her. Meanwhile, Bella gained yet another infant milestone: lift head. All that complaining and crying for nothing. Gwyneth tried pumping for the first time since her symptoms were killing her while Rosalie ate salmon out of all things for breakfast and headed off to school. Joseph Stankus woke up from his couch slumber and headed for the shower, preparing himself for another grueling session of rehab, which would be his last. But goodness, was withdrawal killing him? LMAO. This man is so scared of Gwyneth that he's sleeping in his daughter's bed. OMG, when did Grim die? And since when were he and Gwyneth friends? Speaking of Gwyneth, she wasn't really having a good time. The postpartum depression was hitting her hard, along with her new fear of cheating, along with every other problem in her relationship with Joseph. After all he said and done, she really didn't know if she would ever be able to romantically reconnect with him ever again. She loves him, yes, but ever since the kidnapping, he's been a completely different Sim than the one she fell in love with. Part of her felt like she was living with a complete stranger. She didn't know if him getting sober would change anything. Perhaps it was a lost cause, but she wanted to try for Rosalie, who had just come back home from school and invited her new friend Finley over. She really enjoyed hanging out with him. He was super laid back and chill, the complete opposite of her home life. She liked that she could talk about whatever with him and that he always knew how to make her laugh. She knew a beautiful friendship was forming between them. They played with mud out of all things before Rosalie heard her sister Bella crying in her crib. She went upstairs to entertain her, bringing Finley along to introduce them to one another. Bella found Finley so boring, she fell right back to sleep. LMAO. Honestly, I kind of want to buy a rocking chair just to do this. You'll see that shit. Why did her hair just randomly turn brown? I mean, hey, it's a better hairstyle than Finley's. Right when Finley left was when Joseph got back from the doctor, which I don't remember sending him to. Everything's fine. How tragic. I mean, that's just great news. And right as Joseph went back to sleep in Rosalie's bed like the little bitch that he is, he got a very interesting text from his co-worker, Sarah Scott. Huh? A very interesting text indeed. Poor baby Speckles, she can't walk upstairs, so she's stuck downstairs in the dark all by herself. Rosalie did her schoolwork while Gwyneth tended to her gremlin, taking her downstairs to torture her with even more tummy time. Watching her struggle is so hilarious, and I'm tired of pretending it's not. I think Rosalie is enjoying it to LMAO. She then introduced Bella to sitting, her doing oh so well. Gwyneth was so in love with being a mother, and as she looked at Bella, she wondered if her alien mother would love and cherish her as much as she did. She left Bella on the floor next to her in the dining room as she tried to eat her dinner in peace. That peace soon being interrupted by who other than Joseph. She loved the fact that Joseph was actually trying to bond with Bella, despite them not being related. But even with Bella in his arms, Gwyneth couldn't help but want to explode at him. She felt like he was putting on a show. Where was all of this love and attention for her? Why had he barely spoken to her, his fiancé, lately? She didn't want to do this in front of Bella, but she couldn't help it. He had hurt her in so many ways. And for him to just walk around the house acting like nothing has happened between the two of them felt like a slap in the face. Where was her apology, or Rosalie's? When was he going to own up to all of his mistakes and not just the alcoholism? Joseph didn't understand why she was fighting with him. He was finally doing what she wanted. He was trying his best here. She doesn't understand what it means to be an addict, and the stress and judgment she was putting on him certainly wasn't helping. Did she want him sober or not? Gwyneth didn't just want Joseph sober, she wanted her fiancé and her best friend back. She felt like she didn't even know him anymore, and that was when Joseph's heart sank. Gwyneth said it herself, she feels like she doesn't know him, so what was the point of any of this? Why try to save a relationship that clearly wasn't going to go back to how it was? He was now sure that him and Gwyneth were finished. He screwed up, she didn't love him anymore, and she wouldn't even bother to try to understand his point of view. So, when she went to bed, he broke his sobriety, making himself a drink, and wondered what was in store for his future. Possibly his co-worker Sarah Scott, whose text he responded to earlier.